accept and we'll try it out. Okay, so I'm going to read the next chapter. Here is Sticks and Stones. So sticks and stones. Remember, you're on, you're freezing your video for me, okay? Hi, Darian. All right, sticks and stones. Hi. It was Valentine's Day, and Mr. Jupiter's students were opening their cards. Emberly opened one with a lollipop taped to it. Oh, Valentine's Day. I'm a sucker for you. He smiled across the room at Ham. Jackie opened one with Cupid wearing a baseball glove. Happy Valentine's Day from a real Glover boy. She high-fived Humphrey. Bernadette opened an all-black one. I see your face while I'm dreaming. That's why I always wake up screaming. She stuck her tongue out at Lenny. Then Miss Turner pushed open the door. A blonde vision in tight-fitting pink, she panted, "Don't mind me," as she struggled up the aisle toward Mr. Jupiter. "I've just got a little treat for your teacher." She dropped a heart-shaped box of chocolates, a big pink teddy bear, 24 red roses, and a bouquet of helium-filled balloons that read, "Be mine," onto his desk. "Happy Valentine's Day," she said between gasps for breath. Mr. Jupiter smiled. "Thank you, Paige," he said. "I have something for you, too." He handed her a stick, said Miss Turner. Mr. Jupiter nodded. "From the Polynesian Kamana Wanahugya shrub. In Fiji, this stick is a gift given only to good friends." "Good friends?" repeated Miss Turner. She blinked back a tear and touched the stick tenderly. Mr. Jupiter nodded, and Miss Turner pressed the stick to her cheek. "I'll cherish it always," she sighed. She floated out the door. "I have something for each of you, too," Mr. Jupiter said to the children after the librarian had left. He gave each of them a rock, said Calvin. "Not a rock," corrected Mr. Jupiter. "A puka stone." "Huh?" said Ham. "To the Baluba tribe of Hubba Island, the puka stone is a symbol of deep affection," explained Mr. Jupiter. Suddenly red-cheeked, the children stared at him. "I picked them up along the beach while visiting their chief over the holidays," added Mr. Jupiter. The children kept staring at him. "Don't you like them?" asked Mr. Jupiter. Missy raised her hand. "Does this mean that you, love us, Mr. Jupiter?" "I care about each and every one of you," he admitted. Embarrassed, the children wiggled in their seats. "Gee," Rose finally said, "all we got you was this stupid Valentine." She handed him a card that read, "We love to be your A students." It was signed by everyone in the class. Too choked up to speak, Mr. Jupiter placed his hand over his heart and wrestled with his emotions. At last, he managed to sniffle. "I'm deeply moved by your outpouring of affection. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." For several seconds, teacher and student smiled stupidly at one another. Then Mr. Jupiter broke the spell. Picking up the box of candy Miss Turner had given him, he said, "Chocolate, anyone?" Ham hurried up the aisle. Moral of this chapter is, no act of kindness, no matter how big or how small, is ever wasted. Oh, I like that moral. I have that one in my in our classroom. The next chapter is only a page and a half long, so I'm going to read the next one too. The next chapter is called March Madness. March was testing time at Aesop Elementary School. "Everyone take out a number 2 pencil," directed Mr. Jupiter. Calvin raised his hand. Are we being given the ISBNA CTs, he asked. No, no, corrected Bernadette. These are the YMCA GREs. Actually, said Rose, they're the HIJKL MNOPs. In the back row, Stanford snorted. Get serious, he said. We're taking the ESBA, FCA, EFG, AEs, otherwise known as the Every State Basic Abilities and Fundamental Cognitive Assessment of Essential Fourth Grade Achievement Evaluation Test. Whatever, shrugged the others. I couldn't agree more, said Mr. Jupiter. Still, he looked around the room. Does everyone have a pencil? The children nodded. Then I suppose we should get started, he said. And for the rest of the month, the fourth graders did nothing else. The moral is, time is often wasted on things of little consequence. Oh my goodness, let me stop recording.